Okay, now it's time for our weekly Lions segment. This week we're going to be talking about the shocker schedule.
Sensing a bit of a theme this week.
All right, so week one we play Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers. I assume you are counting this as a loss.
Yep, we already talked about it a little bit in our betting segment, but I don't think there's any way the Lions can pull one out against the 49ers week one. They're too raw. We don't know. I think they're just going to take their time kind of finding their identity. I think the Niners are just too solid of a group to go out there and expect them to beat them. Like, they've been together too long. They're a really high-powered team. I don't see it.
I agree. I just don't see. You know what I love about this game, though? I think that this is the perfect starting spot to see what we have with the offensive line.
San Fran's defensive line is ferocious. We're really going to put the test.
It's a great test week one to see how these guys mesh together. And let's hope Swift goes for 100 yards.
Man, they're going to line up Penei Sewell to just take care of Nick Bosa, just put them one on one.
That poor guy.
Yeah. Welcome to the NFL.
Welcome to the NFL. But maybe he shuts him down. I don't know.
He never allowed a sack in college. So
let's hope he doesn't start week one. All right, week two, Monday Night Football, our only primetime game, not including Thanksgiving, which I don't include.
And just, of course, it's this.
It's Green Bay.
This game.
In Green Bay.
Yeah, give me a break.
Kiss my ass. If Rodgers plays, it's a loss. If he doesn't, coin toss. Could win, could lose. Who knows?
I'd actually say if Rodgers isn't playing, it's
count as a W.
I'd count that as a W because they have sucked without Rodgers, really bad. And
that's fair.
The Lions have actually fared pretty well against a Rodgers-less Packers team. So that one's one of the ones that's a squirrely game I could see happening.
Yeah, but Monday Night Football too.
If Rodgers is there,
then count
absolutely
as a
not.
loss.
And it would be great too because it'd be some poetic revenge for the last Monday Night Football broadcast in Lambeau where Trey Flowers.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I wouldn't be shocked if we lost that game off some shit ass penalties.
That's bound to happen.
Yeah. Week three, we are home again against Baltimore.
What a brutal 3 games
loss.
Opening. Wow.
I don't think there's anything to really discuss about this one.
It's just similar to the Niners. I think the Ravens are a little less proven than the Niners, to be honest, at this point. But if the Ravens have everything working and everything's clicking and everyone's healthy, Lamar's playing good, the defense is playing good, again, we're just a team who's at the bottom right now, and we don't really stand a chance against that kind of team.
Yeah. To interject here real quick, I've been seeing a lot on Twitter, especially from beat writers who are proposing the win-loss total for our season. And I'm seeing a lot of 8s, a lot of 9s, some 7s, and I really think a lot of people are just chugging Kool-Aid at this point.
Well, I feel like we're kind of chugging Kool-Aid, but at the same time, I think we're looking at these games pretty realistically here. These first 3 games, that's a tough opening 3.
Super tough.
Those are really tough games.
I'm not going to be upset if we open up 0-3.
I think we're gonna. Yeah. I think it's gonna happen.
Week 4 at Chicago. Coin toss.
That's so fascinating. I'm sorry, just to kind of jump back to that. Yeah. It's just so fascinating that people in the media really see this as a 7-8 win operation this year. Yeah. I just can't believe that. I can't look at this roster even after the draft and free agency. I can't look at this roster and say, yeah, we're definitely better than 5 wins. I cannot say that with any good faith.
I see this as a 4 or 5 win season.
Right.
And then next year it should take a step in the right direction. We should be around 7-8.
If everything's going right, we should want a Miami Dolphins-esque trajectory where things the first year of Flores, they're about what you expected, about 4 wins, 3 wins, and the year after you get some momentum and then you start looking like that kind of credible, and now
wasn't last year his first year?
No. That was his second year because the first year was the tank for Tua year, and then Tua fell to them anyways.
That's right.
Yeah, and then coming into this year, they look like they're actually going to be able to compete for a playoff spot potentially. Yeah. So that's the trajectory we would love. So, but have that happen, you have to start somewhere, and we're not going to start at 7 wins or 8 wins.
No. So yeah, week 4, Chicago at Chicago. I would say that this is a coin toss.
I would too. I guess I just feel like I know Chicago's not like the sexiest team or anything, but Nagy has had a pretty good run, and they have made the playoffs 3 out of his 4 seasons or whatever, and this is a game that they should win.
It is 100%, but a reminder that
it's at Soldier Field too, which
it is
a tough place to play for a Lions team.
The one thing I will say, and the reason why I'm calling this a coin toss with some heat in our favor, the Lions beat the Bears in Chicago last year and should have beat them in Ford Field last year. We should have beat them. We should have been 2-0 against them last year.
But we had Stafford.
We did.
And we had Marvin Jones.
We did.
I mean,
but I'm just saying that's Chicago.
Right.
Like they are like the most smoke and mirrors team of NFL history.
They have Justin Fields playing at that point. Fingers crossed.
Not fingers crossed. I want to play Andy Dalton.
For them.
For them, fingers crossed.
Playing. And their defense is playing the way it should. On paper, it's no question who's the better team.
Absolutely. I'm just saying the Bears find a way to shoot themselves in the foot.
I guess that's a good definition of a coin toss game because it's kind of like who knows. Yeah. I would agree with that. But ultimately, if we're just going win-loss here, I'm going to say that that's going to be another loss, bringing us to 0-4.
I'm going to say that's a win.
The year. Okay.
I'm going to say that's a win.
All right, so Lucas, you're at 1-3. I'm at 0-4 right now.
Minnesota at Minnesota, loss. No
home.
Conversation about that.
Minnesota has a lot to prove this year. Last year was a huge fluke. They are going to jump back, and they're not going to let games like this slip away.
No,
especially at home. When Kirk Cousins always plays well at 1:00 on home games. It's usually a win.
It's a rout. Week 6 at home against Cincinnati.
This is my first win for them.
Okay,
I think that they're going to win this one. I think even though the Bengals are further into their rebuild, I think that they are still a pretty bad team. I think their offense is really interesting. I think that adding the pieces they've added and Joe Burrow being back, hopefully they're going to be a really good offense. But the defense, I don't really know. I could see the Lions at home rallying and getting this win. This is a team that's about our level. If they're a little bit better, I would say, but this is an obtainable game for us. I feel like.
I agree. All right, so now what are you? 1-5? We're both 1-5, right?
1-4.
1-4.
1-5. Sorry, you're right.
1-5. Week 7 at Los Angeles, loss.
It's gonna be the most brutal game of the year.
100%. It's gonna be very sad to watch this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough watch.
Can't believe that game is not prime time. That's an absolute travesty.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
That is 100%.
And it just feels like typical disrespect towards the
Detroit.
Lions and their fans. We'll give you Thanksgiving. Yeah. That's all you get.
Yeah. We'll give you the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving for the 12th time in the last 13 years.
And
what it feels like.
I'm sorry to keep jumping back to this freaking Rams Bears Week 1 game, but you're gonna put that on Sunday Night Football and not this?
Yeah.
What? I know the Lions aren't as good as the Bears in theory, but there's so much more of a story with that game. It's so much more interesting to watch. 100%. Why on earth would you want to? Forget
it. Week 8 at home against Philadelphia.
Second dub of the year for me.
I would say it's a win too.
I think Philly's a mess right now.
Absolute shit show of a franchise.
Being at home will give them a bit of an edge. I think the Eagles are in about the same spot as us.
I would agree.
I think they have some good veteran players, but this thing is about to be down to the studs if a couple things go wrong for them. So I think this is another game where we rally and win.
Yep. And then so at the bye week, what are we?
2 and 6.
2 and 6.
I think we're both aligned on 2 and 6.
Yep. All right. Week 10 at Pittsburgh, loss.
Yep. Loss.
No need to talk about that. Week 11 at Cleveland, loss.
Yep.
No need to talk about that.
Just 2 playoff teams that are no time to waste.
No shot we win those games.
I guess though, we really do have to account for a squirrely game. That usually happens in most seasons where a good team loses a game they shouldn't lose.
I got mine.
Okay. I don't think it's going to happen with either one of those teams because
No,
those
I
teams
don't think so
are
either.
pretty darn good.
Although it could happen with Pittsburgh. So, I mean, they
so.
lost to the Washington football team.
I think Najee Harris is going to come out and
we're not the Washington football team.
I think adding Najee Harris is going to make that Steelers offense back to what it was a couple of years ago. I know Big Ben's not as good as he used to be when they had AB and Lev Bell, but he's going to be scary for them. I really feel like it.
Interesting. Week 12, Thanksgiving at home against Chicago.
That's a win for me. I'm putting that one as a win. I think in comparison to the other game where we were at Soldier Field, it's still pretty early.
Yeah,
I see that as a loss. This is something where we have a couple more wins now. It's a Thanksgiving Day. It's a big game for Lions fans. Like, this is a game where I could see them, like, it's going to be a close fight, but I think that they're going to come out on top in this one, especially after being absolutely embarrassed last Thanksgiving. Like, I think that we're going to want to come out and win this one.
Okay, I'll chalk that one up as a win too. Week 13 versus Minnesota, loss. Yeah, no doubt about that. Week 14 at Denver, coin toss.
That's a tough game to break down. Who knows where the Broncos are going to be at that point? They could be like a team that's got 7 wins at that point. They could be a team that's got 2. I mean, they're a hard read right now at this point in the offseason.
I would agree. I would call that one a coin toss.
Now, if they land Aaron Rodgers still somehow,
then it's a loss.
Then we're going to get hammered by them. But
I'm counting that, even though it's a coin toss, I'm going to count that one as a loss.
I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I'll go loss on that one too.
All right. Week 15 versus Arizona. This is the squirrely game. We just find ways to hang with Arizona.
You know what? No, so I'm gonna back up here. I'm gonna go with a win against the Broncos. I feel like that's gonna be a squirrely game that they'll find a way to win. And Denver's got a lot of question marks. Arizona, I know we got one from them last year, and like we weirdly have had a couple matchups within the last few years somehow.
It's because we both keep finishing bottom of the barrel when it comes to the division.
But I think they are one of those teams that this year they are going to make a big jump because they've added a lot of veteran pieces that are like, we're ready to win now. If we're just talking about matching up against the Detroit Lions in 2021, I see them as a much better team than the Lions. So I think this is a win for the Broncos. On the other hand, it could be either way.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say Broncos. I'll give them a squirrely win, but the Cardinals, I'm going to say it's a loss.
I'm going to say it's a win against Arizona because this just sounds too perfect. Week 15, they're fighting for a playoff spot, super competitive division, and they just come out and lay a dud against us.
That sounds pretty typical.
We just get a squirrely win. Kyler Murray throws another 3 interceptions against us. I
could see that happen.
Week 16 at Atlanta. I'm going to count this one as a loss.
Yeah, I think
we should not have beaten them last year, and honestly, the team isn't horrible.
And plus, they added Kyle Pitts, and
that offense is going to be impossible to hang with.
I think that the Falcons will, find a way, especially after being embarrassed last year. Losing to us, I think they'll find a way to win.
Todd Gurley, he will not run into that end zone.
Nope, not at all.
Week 17 at Seattle, loss.
There's nothing we can say. It's Russell Wilson. Let him cook.
I thought you were hesitating because you were about to say a win.
No. It's that, and that's late in the year too, when the Seahawks that whole NFC West is going to be like clawing at each other to try and get that spot. So Seattle, they're not going to let the Lions come in and get a win. Sorry.
Yeah. And then week 18 versus Green Bay at home. Again, I think this is if Rodgers plays, it's a loss. If he doesn't, it's a win.
Yeah, we're operating under the assumption that Rodgers will be playing, I think, for the Packers. So that's going to be a loss if he's playing.
Okay. So I think we were on par.
Yeah, just a couple variations, but
I think, how many wins we get? So I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we go 4 and 13.
And that feels right to me.
That does.
Like, just this is also a pretty tough schedule, actually.
It is. We actually have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL.
That opening month is brutal. That's really tough. I really hope that it's a situation where they don't get super deflated and after just being beat up by better teams, I hope they don't become demoralized and start to just spin out of control and lose a bunch of games. But I think that's what I don't know a lot about Dan Campbell yet, but I think he's the kind of guy who like he'll make sure that everyone's keeping their heads up, and like he seems like he's like a high energy guy who's like not going to let that be the vibe in the locker room, even if the team is like 0-6 or something. Like I don't see him letting this team like
just
give up. Right? Yeah. So that's the kind of the personality I think he has shown that he has so far. So I expect there to be a couple of games in the season where they show they got some fight and they're gonna squeak a couple wins out. I feel like, but none of this 7-8 wins nonsense.
No,
give me a break.
I just don't think there's any chance.
I hate to sound so negative about it because I love this team, but like, just look at where we are. Look at the broad picture. Like, come on, let's be real here.
No, I totally agree.